Canine Detection Collaborative, a detection dog training trio with Stacy Barnett.
Hi.
Robin Grubel.
Hey there.
And Crystal Wing.
What's up?
With humor and a big dose of theory, our trio talks practical training advice and features interviews with top trainers and scientists. It's Canine Detection Collaborative.
Hi, everybody. This is Stacy Barnett from Canine Detection Collaborative, and I am here with my two wonderful co-hosts, Crystal Wing.
Hello.
And Robin Grubel.
Howdy.
I'm always curious about what you guys will say when you get introduced. Like, Robin usually goes, "Greetings," and I'm like, "Yeah, she's a Trekkie."
Yeah, I am.
It's like kind of funny. I'm like, okay. It always says in my "Greetings" Earthling. Anyway, we just had we spent a lot of time recently. I didn't get to spend time with her, but you guys did. It was super cool to go back and listen. And I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to talk about these episodes. So Martha Hoffman, and just listening to her and all of her experiences in Bali and the hearing dogs. Oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because we started thinking about and reflecting on some of the things that we heard and the conversations that it was sparking was really pretty fun and fantastic. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So what do you guys like? What was the biggest thing that one thing that maybe just kind of popped out at you?
Since Crystal's giving us the I have to think about it look.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was this was me trying not to jump in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go with the 5,000 hour eyes thing.
Oh God, I love that. Yeah.
Right. And
to begin to understand.
To begin to understand and to be able to articulate things. And that was something that I find really, really fascinating. And as I'm sitting here thinking about all of these things, we just got done. Well, this is going to be a little later, but we just got done with this horrible cold spell here. And I've found that I have all of this experience watching dogs, but I also spend a lot of time watching mini donkeys.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to read the behavior on the mini donkeys of you're not feeling well. Standing there and just having that particular type of awareness about behavior. It's not necessarily that I know each individual animal so specifically. It's the fact that that's an odd behavior for them to be exhibiting. I need to pay attention.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I have nowhere spent 5,000 hours watching mini donkeys. So then that correlates back to the dogs. And those of us who teach or watch a lot of videos of all of the other stuff, those 30-second videos that students send us, those add up.
You only get 30-second videos?
I'm talking about our friend Natalie, who sends me really cute puppy videos.
I wish I got 30-second videos, because then I could actually give them something very concise instead.
Right. No, I also get 3 and 5 minute videos from students.
Yeah. I had to laugh there, and I'm like,
Natalie's been sending me 30-second videos of the puppy. So, so she's super cute.
That's so much fun. Yeah, it is kind of interesting, and I think from my perspective, I think when you start to really be able to see that, and you start to be able to observe, and you've built up those 5,000 hours or whatever, I think it can be hard to then put yourself in a position, I think, of people who haven't put those hours in yet.
Yes.
I find this is where, as an instructor, where I have to try to almost, in some cases, guess what they can and can't see. Because I'll say, well, did you see that? And they're like, no. Or I'll say something and I may only point out a part of it, because you can't flood people with a lot of information. And then I'm always kind of left guessing, did you see everything up to that? And I don't usually know the answer to that. And that conversation kind of reiterated that and made me kind of go, can I use that information to be a better instructor?
Right. And
It's from my head.
Teresa McPherson always talked about, or it might have been Lisa Higgins. I think it was Lisa. Did the whole, if the dog does the behavior twice, or it might have been Teresa.
That was Teresa.
Yeah. Okay. You need to interrupt the behavior. And so it's just that whole concept of you'll go back and you'll be talking and debriefing with the student and be like, well, did you see your dog run this particular pattern 3 times or 4 times before they figured it out? And they're like, right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, don't worry. I'm at the point where I'm like, at about 2 times, the little alarm bell goes off in my brain.
Right.
And so the dog gets through the cycle of behavior like 2.5 times before I realize I need to step in.
Yeah.
And that getting that alarm bell to go off sooner and sooner in the whole process is really one of those things. That's why people video.
Yeah.
Right.
And it goes back to like the episode that we had recently where Crystal came up with that brilliant word court, right?
Observation.
The observation part of it, that it's just the O in the word, right? But it's so big.
Yes.
And I think when you can observe, it feels easy. And I think for me, as an instructor, I have to also, and I know, those of us who, you have to kind of like realize how hard it is to do the observe. And I think sometimes I feel almost like a little, I don't know, I feel sometimes like disconnected sometimes. It's like, just because like you start to have to remember what it's like to be a beginner again, just to try to be a better instructor is kind of where I'm going with that.
And I think that's why I like puppies so much. Puppies keep me humble.
Yeah, puppies keep everybody humble.
And it's so funny because I still feel like such a beginner. I just posted on my Facebook group, my CB Canine. I love that I have that group now just to post my random thoughts instead of just leaving them all in my brain. And apparently some people appreciate them. So that's good.
I appreciate your random thoughts.
my last couple have been from Martha's interview because there was one about Cookie Monster. And of course, I can't look at Cookie Monster and somehow not bring that to dogs, but I did. But they were talking about in this little meme about the forward-facing eyes. And then it got me thinking about if he's an ambush monster, and we've had some fun little kind of conversations on Facebook on that. But the eye placement, how that starts to make me think about seeing the world through my dog's eyes. And even how does that affect it? And then some people went down rabbit holes for me because I didn't have time. And they shared all kinds of cool stuff. So that's that thing I never thought about. And I've had dogs my entire life, but it was just another perspective. And is it geeking out? Yeah. Is it necessary? No. But anything that makes me think about another perspective and makes me think about the world closer or differently to understand how my dog sees things, that's good. And then I just took a webinar too about dogs' vocalizations. And oh man, I should have written down the names. I didn't think I was me talking about this though. I can never remember names, so I'll add them and share it. But it was a lady that passed away of breast cancer, and she wasn't able to get her work peer reviewed. And so the current researcher is taking up her work, and her last name starts with a V, and she's really good and has a great Facebook page. I'll find it. Trust me, it was good.
Show notes.
Yeah. And so it was an on-demand webinar, and it talked about play pants, which then, of course, my brain goes to pants that you wear and not the breathing. So, but relating that the idea of these play pants, the breathing, is the laughter. And so even thinking about it from that point of view, as soon as I started playing with my dogs that afternoon, after I watched it, you could hear the cadence of the breathing, that, that kind of sound they do only when they're playing. If that's their laughter, I'm thinking about even as I'm playing in a whole new way. And I started laughing even more when I was playing with them because that was the only time that they were making those sounds.
Right.
And so it's the 5,000 hour eyes with the observation, but that's where it goes to the next level of just giving us a slightly different perspective every time.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Well, talking about eyes, Joe and I had the whole conversation. Joe is my brilliant husband. And about the baby calf that we had born, and Mama Cow couldn't see a black baby calf in the back of a black mule at 6 o'clock at night.
Oh.
The wind is out of the wrong direction, so she can't smell it.
Yeah.
And he's like, the baby's right in front of her face. I'm like, honey, it's a prey animal. If you look where the eyes are, she can't see right in front of her nose. It's on the sides of her head. He just looked at me and he was like, oh. And I was like, that's why smell is really important at this point. So the baby calf is fine, happily eating colostrum and doing all sorts of baby calf things.
Yeah, because what a surprise.
Yeah.
Right?
Whoops. Bulls went on
you
walk
posted
about.
that picture and I'm like, that's not a red Angus.
No, that was a little belted Galloway cross. But whoops, boss, really? So the panting thing is, you definitely need to share that, because I'm now thinking about how that differs in the dogs. Like if I am doing bird dog work with the dogs and the panting that they do, they're coming back with a bird in their mouth and they're panting. And then they immediately almost flip into like super hyper focus mode to go get the next thing versus the play that we do with the detection dogs. That's then reinforcement system. And
I'm going to have to go back and just watch my dog some more, because I'm sitting here going, I don't know. It goes back to that whole that I don't have the 5,000 hour eyes on that. And so I'm sitting here going, it's the whole idea. Like, didn't you see that when they do it the 2 times? And I'm sitting here going, huh? And that's not, I'm thinking about because I literally, my dogs were driving me nuts the last 2 days because they didn't get to any work. And so today I'm like, we're going out, I'm working the fannies off of you guys. And they came back and they loved it. But so I'm kind of going back and I'm kind of thinking about how they were working. And I'm like, I don't know if I heard what I heard, because I did a lot of play. I did a lot.
Right.
I don't know.
Anything to make us think about our dogs in a different way and listen to them and hear them and see them and try to experience the world through their senses. And I know even with detection stuff too, on my tracking pole, a lot of people will put powder or a little ribbon and they'll hold it at like their chest level. And it's like, no,
that's
not dog level. And
it's got to be around your knees.
Yeah. So for tracking, I have a little flag that's like the streamer around knee height on my pole. And then another one about ankle height. So then I can see even the difference in the wind right at the grass level versus up a little higher.
Wow.
And it's the same thing with when I'm going places or if I have dogs that lack a little confident or just whatever it may be, I'm always kind of looking down at knee level. I kind of squat down and I'm stretching too. So I kind of use it for both. But it kind of gives me that, okay, here's what my dog is experiencing.
Well, and we do that for directionals. I mean, I have set up really long distance directionals. And the first thing I have to do is go back to my start place. That's actually one of the cheats I've learned is you put a 5-gallon bucket out there. And if I'm out placing something and I squat down to eye level, can I see my 5-gallon bucket? Because that's where my dog's at, way back there. Yeah. And I've seen the people that I do all the hunting dog stuff, they're constantly crouching down. Can my dog see the line that they're supposed to take?
Yeah.
And I think we forget that with some of the detection dog stuff sometimes. And I see this especially with dogs that lack some confidence, that you're like, well, that should be fine. And the dog's like, no, that's freaking scary.
Or how about our smaller dogs, right?
Yeah.
So it's the whole, the short dogs versus tall dogs. So I had hosted one of my teaching assistants, Lauren Walsh. She runs Cocker Spaniels, right?
Yes.
So I hosted her for a couple of webinars about short dogs, because I think, and I had always, up until I started working Y, right? And working him up, at least into the elite level. I kind of, it didn't really impact me through NW3, but once he got into elite, it went from kind of intellectual understanding about the differences of a taller versus short dog. And then I went into oh, now I get it type of situation where when you start to think about how their world is so different because everything above them, which is a taller dog's nose level, everything above a short dog traps odor.
Mm-hmm.
So they not only catch odor and they actually experience convergence farther out because that's where it's kind of collecting at that lower level, right? But everything above them is just trapping odor. So the amount of problem solving that they have to do is actually well in excess of a taller dog. And it's things that unless you were actually running a short dog, and actually in my case, I run taller dogs and a short dog, right? That I can really start to see the difference between the two and how they problem solve. But it is purely based off of where their nose hits the environment.
And that's where it goes beyond just looking, but actually seeing, like truly seeing. And we're not ready to do that until we've had the chance to look. And that's what I loved about what Martha Hoffman was saying was that she was creating all of those thousands and thousands of photos to make slideshows of the exact expression, capturing that feeling or that moment, that behavior from lots of different breeds so that it just gets pummeled in your brain. That even if you don't know what to look for, it becomes vocabulary for you. And that was something I really appreciate because, Robin gave me the opportunity to come out and photograph at all of the seminars. And so I got to see all of the dogs and get to see all the different breeds. And that was such a jump start. I mean, there's no way that I'd be able to know and be able to understand as much as I do now as a beginner still.
Yeah.
If I didn't have that experience of seeing. And I'm finally to the point of not just looking, but actually starting to see when it comes to the behaviors and understanding the changes. And that's where a lot of the nosework competitors are so far just superior in a lot of ways because they really have to read those slight changes. And it was so fascinating to watch that, like at Muscatatuck, that they really understood and could go beyond just looking and they could see what was happening with their dog.
And they could read, they didn't totally always rely on that trained final response. And they could back out that change of behavior into a much more subtle piece than a lot of my professional detection dog people can, because we get lazy looking for the gross body language of a trained final response. I challenge everybody to start dissecting and writing down their dog's sequence of from the moment their dog hits odor until they do their trained final response. What is that whole sequence of behavior? Write it out and then watch it again and again because you're going to pick up new stuff.
Yeah. And you can watch your video and try to identify when was the exact moment that your dog noticed.
Yeah.
Fever.
What changed about their face and
their energy, like all of that, their musculature, their everything.
Yeah.
If you can kind of break it out, I usually tell people look for direction, look for speed, look for those two things like first. There's a whole lot more to it, but that's a good starting point. Right?
Well, and Martha has all of there's a book out that's using a bunch of Martha's photos. I think that's in the show notes from the last time. That's one of the ones that's in my Amazon cart waiting to have the purchase button.
And I think at the basics, when we start talking about looking, I think when we say we're looking, we can hear the dog sniffing. We can see the dog sniffing.
Yeah.
When we start to see, that's when we start to understand the significance of their top line and their speed and the way that they're putting their nose up or down. We can start to see those things. But then I think if we look from the dog's perspective at like environmental cues, we can see the dog scanning. We can see the dog looking around. But when you really start to see, it's not just about the sniffing. We can actually see how they're interpreting the wind direction. You can actually see when you're looking at their little nostrils, which one's kind of going a little more. Yeah. Like, can you imagine that? Like, it gets me all excited thinking about it. you can just see like they're using their whole entire sensory toolkit. And it's like you can see this mental map that's happening in their brain and they're just taking it all in. And you can feel them like the intensity kind of come up when like right at that moment you're talking about, like right before they hit it, and that first little molecule that hits their nose, that little nostril takes it in, and you see that just moment of electricity. But then like, oh, it blows my mind. Like I can look and see that my dog can interact with the crowd, that they can discern who is important at that moment and who is not. But to truly see it, that's when I see how they're reacting to all of the people. Like, they're sensing the anxieties of people, the fear, the pheromones, how nervous people are. They're also sensing my dumb ass on the end of the line, or, however I'm connected in the situation. And they're taking in all these emotional cues that I don't even know about my own species. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how these people are feeling, but my dog is sensing all of this stuff. Like, that's when I like, oh my gosh, like I start seeing that. And then, okay, so sorry, I'm getting excited.
That's great. That's great.
I look at how they're anticipating, they're adapting. They've got the scent, they're going. Truly seeing it, it's the strongest scent, but they have to anticipate the changes that's happening in the moment with the wind direction, the terrain, the obstacles. They're adapting the search pattern, all of this on the fly. Like, they're so amazing. And just reevaluating. The cool thing is watching, they're like constantly reevaluating, and the little nostrils going, and the head is up and the head is down. And it's all of these moments. And then I look at that relationship. But when you really see the relationship and how we're a team, that's the part that just takes it over the edge for me. I know that my dog feels my excitement, my anticipation, my disappointment. Poor Radish, when I felt disappointed, they're taking all of this in. And in the beginning, there's no way you could see all of that. In the very beginning, it is, I see my dog sniffing. I see my dog following a trail. Good dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, they found the thing.
Yeah.
And then with that experience, you start to feel all of that and you start to see all of that. And that's the thing I think that Martha is so genius about, bringing that to light for me again and getting me so excited about that.
Yeah.
And the whole fact that she gets the chance to observe all the Bali dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And and she can just walk down the street and have all of these subjects that she can take pictures of is just amazing. And I love following her posts on Facebook and getting to see, well, here's the 20 versions of walleye. And I'm like,
not the fish.
Not the fish. Right.
It's kind of Midwest. I don't know.
And so it's really interesting. And she has very interesting, thought-provoking narratives to go along with those particular posts until people are nice.
She's got some great perspective. Like, I think sometimes we can get caught up as humans repeating other people, like what we've heard, right?
Yes.
Like we hear something and so we say it. And I think I see this a lot with a lot of Facebook, a lot of just even dog training, whatever, where people kind of parrot what they've heard. So they hear something and then they kind of just repeat it. And by doing that, it kind of becomes like a de facto, this is truth.
Right. Yes.
Right. Rather than really kind of critically thinking about something and looking at it objectively. And I think she's amazing at doing that. Like I've read some of her posts and I'm like, huh.
I like it. And then I'm like, I have to think about this one.
Like, I really had to think about it. So like she had that post and they were talking on the podcast, you were talking about the growling.
Yes.
Right.
That was an excellent post. Yeah.
It was. And I was just like, and so my first knee-jerk reaction was not where I ended up after listening. My first knee-jerk reaction is based off of this is what you hear, so this is what you say, right? So it's kind of like, whoop, 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 you're gonna reinforce you're gonna take away the growl, you're gonna have the bite or whatever. So it goes in the ear, and then that's come out your mouth. But when you start to really kind of think about it, you're like, huh, makes a lot of sense to me. Once we start, you just start looking at it and you kind of take that initial bias that you might have to a conversation. And if you can kind of take the bias out and just kind of listen with fresh ears, I
And
think it helps you become more available to different thoughts. You know what I mean?
And I think about what the profession that Crystal is so involved. I mean, it's her profession. Our high schools and colleges are there to teach people how to do critical thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of those things that if Facebook is lovely and then Facebook is horrible, or social media in general, because you have people who are keyboard warriors. And I've decided that sometimes it really evolves into they haven't gotten their drama quota for the day. So they sit down and like do drama on Facebook. I've gotten really good at just scrolling. I don't have to attend every argument that I'm actually invited to, so I can scroll just fine.
Exactly. I'm like, well, you know what? If you want to have that opinion,
you go right ahead. It's okay.
Whatever.
And so I think that when somebody is putting out an idea that is different than what we've been spoon-fed,
right?
It makes people kind of question their reality, but it also goes through that whole critical thinking option of, okay, maybe I need to reevaluate how I think about this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it's interesting. And then people get mean. Be nice.
There are those people that you meet and you immediately have that connection where you feel their depth of kindness and giving. And that is what I felt from Martha.
Yes.
I've been able to have just a couple conversations on the side. And we had one late last night because her hours, actually, I'm a night owl, so this might work out well. Now I have somebody that I can chat with in the middle of the night.
The rest of us are asleep.
Yeah. I mean, for the fact that I mentioned to her that I'm doing a webinar on play, and she immediately, without even hesitation, was like, oh, let me give you all of the play photos that I have of all of the play expressions and the 30-second reel of all of the photos I've taken. And you can put that in there because I would love for people to be educated. Whoa. Martha, are you kidding? Stop it.
We love Martha.
Gosh. So, oh my gosh. And if you use any of that, well, you would anyway, but like giving credit. Like,
absolutely. I'm the queen at that.
You are.
Yes. I know you are. That's why I had to look
to a fault. I think I annoy people with credit. The fact that, I mean, that was not even a hesitation. And then, we were chatting about Checkmate a little bit because I was, asking if maybe she could help me with him because of his noise reactivity. So thinking about it in the opposite side. And she was just fascinated by some of the stuff I was doing. And she's like, I would love to chat with you more. And it's just such a kind, generous person. And I think what happens is a person that's that kind and generous, that's putting out that much content, is going to stir the pot and is going to put out stuff that some people go, I don't agree with that. And then it just gets so blown up so fast. And I get into mama bear mode fast. So that's why we brought up the growling one, because there's so many other great things that she has written. And if you're not following her on social media, she has great resources and she's sharing so much. You can learn so much from her.
Totally agree.
And just know that she is a truly, truly kind spirit and she's out there and giving, and we need to support people like that.
Yep.
Yes.
When she was talking about sharing all of the photos and slideshows to get the information in your brain so you have a vocabulary, the next thing that I dream of that I hope that she does with all of her time is to then create the context for those. Because one of the things that really made a huge difference for me was I had the chance to see all the different dogs and then to start to understand some of the herding characteristics versus some of the retriever characteristics. And we're doing a water seminar and I'm on the boat with Lisa Higgins, and it was just so much fun to listen to her predict, because she can see from all of the observation and all of the studying that she's done. She could see that the pointy-eared dog, I had Yukon at the time, and she said, right about here, he's going to start bobbing his head on the front left side of the boat. Swear to God, that's exactly what he did.
Wow.
He went to the front side of the boat, went to the left side, and started bobbing his head kind of up and down. And she said, now, if he was more of a retriever type, he would have done this. And then I got to see on the next time riding with the retriever that the retriever did exactly that as I'm taking photos. I'm like, I had goosebumps. And then she's like, and with your pointy-eared dogs, when you come around, you're going to see he's going to get low to the water. I mean, just everything.
That's
and
so
just
cool.
That was the moment that really changed so much for me, to have someone in the moment predicting what's going to happen because of all of their experience. And that's what I'm kind of encouraging Martha to do, is to take what she has and then start to put it into context. So now you have these images burned in your brain. How can I apply them? And that's going to be the next thing. And to have those people in your life, the mentors that know the breeds and the characteristics and how they're going to do the thing. Oh man, if you can give me a list of those people, I just want to be in their brain. And
it's funny because you started talking about this and I realized that we're having this whole conversation about being able to watch, being able to observe, and then being able to see. And the word see is actually in quotes.
Yeah.
Because it means being able to process and articulate all of the information that you are getting from observing the behavior.
Yep.
And I think that is, for me, that becomes the ability to see is something that trainers actually do. And that's why you see some of those trainers out there who can adjust to a dog on the fly and they look absolutely brilliant, but it's because they can see.
Yep.
And I did think of the thing that was really interesting when you were talking about Check and his sound reactivity.
Yeah.
Was Martha talking about how she'd go into a shelter and select dogs to be a hearing dog based on the dogs that would run towards the noise.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was fascinating to me on how that was the thing they were selecting for out of shelters.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot of questions about that, because I think about that's Checkmate. He runs to the sound, but he wants to make the sound stop.
He might bite it.
Yeah.
So his Malinois colors come out.
It was an interesting conversation that you had though, where is like, are they running to it because they're interested, or are they running to it because they want to? What's the confident versus the reaction to it? It was.
Is it aggression? Is it fear? Is it confidence? Is it interest?
Right.
And that's where you really have to be able to see that.
Right. They're still moving towards it, but like, how do you know what's driving that?
Yeah. Which I think was one of the conversations I was then mentally having in my brain about the different stuff to do with my puppies.
Right.
In the breeding, when they're still hanging out in my house and they're learning how to climb all sorts of things that I need to throw some noise. I mean, we have the TV going and all sorts of things in the background, but it's maybe we need to work a little bit more on dropping those pans or whatever we're going to do. So that was just kind of an interesting whole sort of fascinating thing.
I'm wondering now too, does it matter as long as they go toward it? Because maybe it is because they want to go eat it to make it stop, but I can still use that going toward, and I can train the behavior that I want them to do instead.
Yeah.
Now I don't want it to be fear-based. And so that's where the question mark comes in, because I know sometimes, like with our pointy ear mouths and such, that I think people will say, oh, they're not afraid of it. They're just very forward. And I'm like, no, I see a fear base there.
Right.
And I mean, I'll fight you on that one. No, it's unpopular, but I see it, and they're like, oh, my dog's so tough. And I'm like, no, your dog wants to shut that down because like they're scared of it. And they're just like me. I don't know why, but when things happen, I go toward it. It doesn't mean that I'm not scared.
Yeah. Yeah. You've talked about the
but there's that fight, flight, freeze, all the things. And I fight, like I go at it, and I wish I didn't. I would do anything to take that out of me. Like, I don't want to be the first one to go down. That's not, but it's my reaction. It doesn't mean that I'm confident. Kind of means I'm dumb sometimes, I think. But no, it's just instinct. And I just wonder, I don't know. It really tickled my brain.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a lot, just like thinking about like my different dogs and their personalities and stuff like that. And I look at Brava, who I had once seen her. They just did like an evaluation. They were tugging with her and all kinds of things. They were dropping all kinds of crap around her and everything. And she just didn't care. But I don't think that would be the same with my other dogs. But with her, so it's like that I didn't work on that. She came from the same breeder. She came that way. It's just her temperament. That's her temperament. Her temperament is, I don't care. I don't care about noises. I don't care about things that normally startle dogs. I don't care.
Well, and she just has a lower threshold, or a higher threshold, I guess you could say. So there's a higher threshold for it, so that it would take a whole bunch more before she would care.
Yeah. I mean, we did the temperament test or whatever, and that was the first time she heard gunfire. And she's like, whoa, what's that? That's cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. Don't care.
She just really.
That's one of those things that's what temperament tests are there for. There's so much, I talk about it often, and this came from Robert Naziska. I'm talking about the difference between courage and confidence. Dogs are born with courage. They either have it or they don't.
Right.
And you can build confidence. And I've been through enough dogs. I can tell from actually kind of a young age, they've got the courage. They could do my female level disaster dog, or this dog needs to go over here and do this thing, because they're just not going to do the thing.
Right.
And it's not that they're a bad dog. It's just they don't want to be a dentist. They would rather be an engineer. And it's okay. So, because God knows being a dentist is scary.
Which one was scary, the dentist or the engineer? I was like, dentists are terrifying.
Yeah, dentists are terrifying. Absolutely. No, dentists are terrifying. I don't want to be a dentist. No offense to dentists out there, just not our thing.
Yeah, just prefer not to see you.
Great. Now we've ruined a whole segment of people who used to listen to us.
Trigger warning on this one, right?
Yeah.
I feel triggered.
So I don't know. No, Martha is she's one of those people that when I'm scrolling through my Facebook and I see she's posted something, I actually stop and hit the little see more.
Yeah.
So I can read what she's wrote. And as a breeder, I was interested in her whole concept of, well, why Frenchies?
Yeah, that was a really funny thing. I'm listening to this and you're like, why would you breed that? And then you were like, track.
Wait a minute, that did not come out right. Yeah.
I think I laughed so hard. I snorted on that one when I was listening. I was like,
it was not meant to be derogatory. That was just like,
nice
wow.
Nice covering up.
And it's interesting for me we had that conversation with here, and then to see some of the stuff that's coming out of Europe on how they're trying to breed the longer nose back into those dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I felt a lot of compassion from my friend Natalie. She has a doodle and she's doing search and rescue, and the amount of I'm going to say it, shit talk. And
God, I read her post and like my heart broke.
Oh, I get so tired of people being so rude.
Yes.
Get to know the dog and the handler before you make your comments. And it just goes back to the kindness piece that we talked about earlier. And you can really break someone. You can crush them when you make all these I'll get a little fiery. So I got to watch myself.
No. We're right behind you.
We're right behind you with the pitchfork. I have seen it as an instructor, and I have to check my preconceived notions every time somebody walks up with a dog that is not the typical for the working dog world.
Yeah.
Because I have seen some dogs that are the typical that don't work.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have seen
Yukon.
other dogs.
That's my one word contribution.
Yes. Well, Yukon makes contributions in other ways.
Yeah, but he's my bitey dog, and clearly that's not what he's going to be for. If I walked in with Yukon for a bitey thing, they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that's a dog for it." But instead, I should be going to. I couldn't do barn hunt. He was scared of the rats. So
that's cute.
I mean, so you wouldn't expect that either. I know. Right. I'm not trying to like hijack it there, but I'm just going with it. Like there's a.
That's that whole preconceived notion thing.
Yeah.
Natalie shows up with a doodle, and I've seen him work. He's a fantastic detection dog. I don't envy her grooming him.
No. Having had a standard poodle, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wash and wear all the way for me now. Wash and wear.
There's some of the terriers that show up. We see some very unique breeds show up at Miskattuck and all sorts of things. And I
as a nosework instructor, I see every breed you can imagine. I literally, every so often I get so excited because I'm like, oh, I'm getting to work with a new breed. And it's so much fun because honestly, it erases a lot of your preconceived notions because you're like, wow, that dog can work. And it could be some like really like an off breed. And it's just so cool to see sometimes. It's just like, wow, look at that dog go. I mean, I have one student, speaking of doodles, she's got a miniature Aussie doodle. Man, that dog can search. I'm like, look at that dog go. Like sometimes you just get blown away by dogs that you don't expect.
Yes.
I've got students with miniature poodles that would just like, that will search the pants off of any dog you put in front of me. I mean, it is the coolest thing. And I think that's, I had, oh my gosh, I had, of course, this was the intro that taught a class hunting for food. I got to work with an Afghan hound puppy.
Aww.
Yeah. That's a lot of hair.
Well, it looked kind of like a Muppet / Big Bird kind of. He was the cutest thing in the world. But to see like his drive for the searching come out went like a dog that you just wouldn't even expect. Anyway, what I'm saying is that it's just fun to see.
Yeah.
I feel fortunate that I get to see so many different. I'm always looking like, oh, I haven't worked with that breed. I haven't worked with that one.
Well, and it's been interesting to watch Martha's posts to see all of the different types of stuff. And like the one that she saw, she posted something on protection dogs today.
Yes, I read that one.
And I was like, oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
About this old traditional protection breed. And I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, she was saying like they seem very calm and like what might be a good fit for
service work until they turn
service
3.
Work. Right. but that how they're so like kind of vigilant. And if they perceive like your emotional reaction to something, all of a sudden that becomes a threat and it wasn't. And this is just this genetic. And like, I was just reading this going, whoa.
Right. I mean, so
I never really even thought about that.
Strongly encourage people to follow Martha on Facebook. Her Facebook, she'll get all these friends now. She'll be like, why? And
well, she was just on Ivan's podcast.
Yes.
And I think she's on another one coming up. So she was like,
the rounds.
I don't know why people are getting so interested in what I'm sharing all of a sudden. And I can't wait to hear what because Ivan always has super long interviews, like 3 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I had to take those in chunks.
Yes. That's going to be a driving to Lincoln for training podcast.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't focus that long.
Yeah. I hear you.
But yeah, it struck me when she was a Frenchy breed. Sorry, I say moody.
Know.
You know what? Because I have a moody in my class right now.
Oh.
And so I think my brain
moody
just...
on the brain.
Yeah.
Moody on the brain.
Okay. Have you guys got to work with the little Hungarian moodies before?
I have.
They are so fun.
They're fun.
Oh my gosh. Like little springs.
And they're brilliant.
Yes.
And they have so much hair.
Fun.
I'm back to the lots of hair. Gotta clean. No. I'm with Stacy on the wash and wear thing.
The wash and wear all day long.
Yeah, it was my first experience with one, so it's so much fun. But yeah, with the Frenchie, we have one in our club right now, and it's such a joy getting to see dogs that are doing things that maybe you wouldn't expect them to do. And I love that it just knocks out all those preconceived ideas. And like, I can't wait. I really hope that Emily takes Arlo, the little Frenchie, and just goes to Mondio Ring and just kicks butt. And I mean, you can't do the hurdles and things. I get it, but do the Palisade with the Frenchie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, lots of love out there for all of you guys that are doing it with the breeds that maybe aren't the most recognized for it. And you found the right job for that dog. Maybe you got the dog for it, or maybe you just found the thing you loved and then the dog fell in love with it too, or whatever it is. So more power out there, more love to you.
I want to thank Martha for really giving me I'm thinking about this a lot, right? That whole concept back between watching, observing, and seeing. And I think for me, that's my big takeaway from a conversation with Martha is that difference, and that you have to train your brain to be able to see.
Yeah. I think my takeaway is to try to, if you have a thought and it was a knee-jerk reaction to anything, is to challenge yourself to try to set that aside and contemplate and listen, right? And listen to another perspective and challenge yourself to kind of look at things objectively. And I think if you do that, I think you might learn something that you don't expect.
So my takeaway is to be kind, to go along with what Stacy just said. Kindness is always going to win. And then to reiterate what Robin said, what's up? Watch, observe, see.
Oh my gosh.
Or maybe I should put an S on the end of quartz.
There you go.
Oh. Put an S on the end. For now it's C. No, I'm kidding. I'm being silly. No, but I love the idea about beginning. This is just the chance to begin to see. And it's 5,000 hour eyes, because look at how much she inspired me just in the last week to go, eyes, Cookie Monster. How does that relate to our little predators and the distance between their eyes? And how does that affect it? And then, dogs laughing and panting. And how can I listen to how they're breathing to see their world in a new way? And so we're constantly just trying to empathize and understand and create these bonds and relationships with this other species to make us better teammates, to make us better, period.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening, and go train.
Canine Detection Collaborative! We appreciate the time you spend with us. If you liked this episode, not only should you follow us so you don't miss the next one, but please also rate and review us in your favorite podcast app. For info on collaborating with us, go to k9detectioncollaborative.com. That's K9detectioncollaborative.com, where you can find our socials and pick up our latest monthly freebie. Join us again to talk training in the next episode.